you can go.
So, good morning. We're gonna do a top end on a Yamaha 1200 non-power valve motor. I've already got the pistons installed, and I've got the jug prepped up and gasket and everything ready to go. I'm just going to show you a few things. So we always use a RTV on the cylinder base gasket and on the heads to seal them up real good so that they don't leak, especially when you're reassembling stuff. So I've already applied that. I use like a Loctite gray gasket maker. There's other kind you can use, like this black RTV that works fine too. And then there's a small little home size tube, you know, if you got just one project, something like that. So anyways, we got the pistons in. Let's take a look at the rings on this motor. The rings can go on any. There's that you can put them on either the upper or the lower ring. The only thing you got to keep an eye out for is that's a little notch right there, and there's writing right on the ends of the rings. I don't know if you can see that, but that always goes up. And here's the pin. You just match them to the pin. Slide the ring on like that. You're just going to squeeze it closed all the way, and then make sure it comes back free, so that it pops free and it isn't sticking anywhere inside the ring groove. So if it sticks, the ring will lose compression on it. So you might have like a burr in there or something like that. So anyways, I got the gasket here. Now these aftermarket gaskets, they're kind of notorious for not fitting properly. So when we put it on, I always put them on the I always put them on the jug first, so that I can tell if they're going to fit right. Now this one I needed to trim these off right here about 1/8 of an inch, which I already did. And then I also had to trim a little bit off of the back here, about 1/16 of an inch. So hold on just for a second. So anyways, sorry about that. So anyways, I got the gasket ready. So I always check to see how they fit, because like I say, they might have to be trimmed a little bit on the corners. And then we'll just stick the gasket on here, and because I've got RTV on this side also, and I just like to put that on there because it's kind of messy with the RTV in here. And I'll wipe off some of the excess on it and clean that up just a little bit. And it's okay if you get a little bit on, you know, on the cylinder or something like that. This stuff does, you know, the engine will just eat it right up and spit it out. So I'm going to assemble this engine myself, the cylinder by myself. But in most cases you cannot do that. You will need a second person. And so don't try this at home. Just because I can do it real well. So I'll grab the jug like this. I'll position my cylinder. Now you can see why you need a second hand. There we go. Okay. I also keep a rag handy so I can wipe my pistons off, because they get a little bit of RTV on them as you move them around in there. So anyways, there we go. Good to go. I'll line up both of my rings on the far side. Just compress it like that. There's one. One second, that one's catching a little bit. Do not force it. If you do, you will break the ring. So then we'll take a second, one piston here. Hold on a second here. Alright, come on now. There it goes. There we go. Push that one up a little bit. Position. get that ring to pop right there. That's probably a problem. Last but not least, the back one. Position the rings. This is always the hardest one. Go for my hand under here. Just kind of hard to get. Probably get it from that angle. So it's showing them there. It's probably no need. Just kind of come over here. They just need two hands. They're all the same. Well, hold on a second here. It's right there. This is kind of a bear. That's why I need two people doing it. But Joe's holding my camera right now. So let me turn this over a bit. There we go. That might help. Get that ring in position. Right there. If you get it just right, it goes pretty easy. Maybe I can get this by myself. That's one. Right now. Come on now, stop that. Usually I can do this pretty easy. Having all kinds. There's one. There we go. Nope, ain't gonna happen today. Crap. I think I got that one in there. There it goes. There it goes. There it goes. Ha! Got it. I gotta gently try to twist the cylinder. Just to double check my base gasket. Still in position. I set it down. I got my pins in. The cases. The pins are extremely important. There, got it. Thank you. Now you know I need two hands, or two sets of hands. So anyways, we got our bolts over here, and we're gonna red Loctite them. Our bolts that hold the cylinder down, we're gonna go ahead and put them in, torque them down. So red Loctite on those babies. There's two longer ones on the end right here. That ones are all shorts. Okay. And then I'll use my zip gun right behind Joe here. Here you go. So here we go. This thing works like a charm. Torque. These are 30-pound torque. And kind of go from the middle out. So we're just doing the top end on this motor. So anyways, so I've got this, we have a stone where we stone these off and get these nice and flat when you send us in your cylinder. So we'll either stone them or we'll deck them with a Bridgeport and or both. And this cylinder head right here was undamaged. So we just went ahead and run it on my stone. And then we'll go ahead and RTV this and install it also. And So I'm just grab a gasket right here real quick. There we go. Head gaskets. There we go. So I'm using this stuff right here. I really don't like the way it applicates it can kind of come out too fast if you're not careful. But we'll apply this everywhere. The reason is tiny little leaks in the head gasket on these metal head gaskets will burn down your piston, and this is really helps it. So don't do that. When it's brand new from the factory and it's never been used and stuff like that, you know, they install them, they spray a little coating of stuff on them and install it. It's more like an oil though, and I'm just going to use this kind of stuff. All the engine remanufacturer companies will do this exact same thing on anything that they install, just because it makes it a better seal. But you're definitely going to want to use it. Take and wipe out the cylinder excess. You notice we haven't put any oil in the cylinder yet. It was intentional. We will do it. So let's go ahead and do that for a second. Comes out a little bit fast out of this applicator. I really don't like it too much. Just like they were kind of low at it at the parts store there. I like the squeezable caulk gun. So just put a thin coat of that on there. When you get some out, when you sandwich them together, you know, it's goos out in the sides. You just wait till it dries and then peel it off if you don't like it. So, but it'll clean up real nice. That's pretty much it. Gasket. Now my head gasket, I usually line this tab up with that back hole back there like that. I think that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Put my head gasket on. There we go. And we didn't disassemble the upper part of this head because we know how to take the head off, right? And we weren't gonna blast anything. So anyways, these bolts right here, they always go to the exhaust. So point towards the exhaust where that bracket goes right there. And we'll line that up. We will place red Loctite on the head bolts. One more time. Bolts, bolts, bolts. Probably have enough. There's 4 long ones right here. Just kind of make sure you start them all a little bit. Centering the gasket. something like that. Little 12mm bolts. Run them down a little bit, just make sure they're all in. This gun will torque these things down just about perfectly, but we'll still go ahead and check them. But these are 20 foot-pounds. When that gun has a full battery, it'll put these down right where we want them, but we still always just double check them. That one's a little bit loose. That one's a little bit loose. That one too. There. Okay. Alright, that will do it. Thanks for watching. I also sent, so I want to do is tell you something about the carburetors on this motor. So they should always tear apart these carburetors and rebuild them. Now they do have high and low jets. This is the low jet towards the bottom of the carburetor. 1, 2, 3. We always take this, I'll send you this spec sheet right here. I'll circle the motor that you have, and then I'll say add a half a turn. So you would run all these screws in, then back them out to the stock settings. M stands for mag, meaning the front of the motor. C for center, and P for PTO, meaning the back of the motor. So on this engine, this would be the PTO, this would be the mag end. The mag end being the end where the cables connect on the front of the motor. So we would set all the screws to the setting that it specifies here, then we would add 1/2 a turn to them after we clean them, and then we would do the same to the highs, which are right here. We would check all the highs, see if they're set at spec, and then we would open them up 1/2 a turn. It really helps when you have a because a lot of these engines are running kind of lean, and it doesn't ever hurt to open up the jets on them. Just uses more fuel, but it makes for a safer motor. If in the event that after you adjust the carburetors open and the engine doesn't seem to run right, I'd go back through them and reduce them all 1/4 of a turn. And very rarely does that happen, but it has happened before on some motors for some reason. I'm not sure why, but it does do it sometimes. And it just doesn't like being opened up that much. Anyways, thanks for watching. That's a little top end on a Yamaha non-power valve motor. Okay, Joey, shut up.